Welcome back. Okay, so the matinee games are done, and if you cheered for a home team in the matinee games, you did pretty well. I also was quite happy that I was able to use some of the magnets I haven't been able to use for a while, so that was kind of fun. It appears to be just a little bit, a little bit. It looks better. All right, so yeah, and what was fun for me was that both teams that I cheer for, they're still playing hockey right now. We're playing early, so I got a chance to see how unpredictable things really and truly were. As we start things off with Boston and Philadelphia. So for the Flyers, you want to see them playing desperate hockey, right? And I think you saw some of that today. I also think that there was some good fortune here if you're the Flyers. So reverse retro for the Flyers. They wore those against Boston before and they lost, so they win today. Provorov went down at the 18-second mark, which had to make Flyers fans kind of nervous, and it was on a blocked shot, but he was okay. And it was Swayman versus Elliott, and Elliott had a very strong game today. Provorov, as I said, stays in. Stinger from a block shot. The shots were 4-0 Bruins at 3.5 minutes, and it really looked like in both games, teams I cheered for just weren't allowing shots. I was like, this is weird. It was happening at the same time. And then at 5:38, Bergeron scores from Smith and Marchand. So Smith was on that top line today. And it went pretty well, at least early. And it was a shot from the slot, and there were no shots still at that point for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers then had a 3-on-1. Clifton defended that well. Steady forecheck by the Bruins. And the Bergeron line looked very dangerous when they were out there on the ice. However, shortly after the halfway mark, Konechny, he scores from Hagen Sanheim at 11:53. And I still have no idea why the Bruins had everybody on one side of the ice while Konechny's on the other. You don't leave Konechny wide open like that. That's how goals happen. And so Konechny, nice easy goal for him. No chance for Swayman on that one. And there was a momentum shift after that goal. The Flyers, again, the desperate hockey, they have to win. They know that they have to beat Boston. This is the team they're trying to chase. They also have to pass the Rangers. Things get kind of interesting in the Eastern Division with this result today. But yeah, so the desperate hockey was needed. Elliott made saves as the Bruins pressed with six minutes left. Game was opening up with 5 minutes left in the period. The Flyers would get a power play and they score on it. It's Gostisbehere continuing his recent hot streak from Konechny and Van Riemsdyk at 17:46. So Konechny with a couple of points and Van Riemsdyk on the board, which is important for him because I think he'd gone 8 games without a point coming into today. Bruins were really on their heels after that 2-1 goal, but the period comes to an end. So we go to the second. Early Flyers power play, and it's noteworthy that Grzelcyk was not on the Bruins bench. They would announce later on in the game, upper body injury, he would not return. So I still think Boston's going to be pretty active over the next 48 hours, in part because of that. Bruins would get a power play. Bergeron had a tip that went wide in the closing seconds, but their power play today, not great. Zboril had a shot on a turnover that went wide. Bleed then made his exit on a shot block. He would return as well. Flyers press at 8 minutes. The Bruins then get a power play. That was a no. And then DeBrusk would score from Smith and Coyle at 11:46. And it's really important that DeBrusk gets things going. So after that goal, he did have another good shift. He had another rush chance. So it feels like if DeBrusk can wake up, get back to the kind of play he had last year, maybe Boston has a chance. And that was when they announced Grzelcyk with the upper body injury would not return for the rest of the game. So Boston down to 5 defensemen, and we're going into the third period. Kuhlman and DeBrusk had an early chance that almost connected, but didn't end up hitting the net. Smith, pretty good on that top line. The shots were 5-1 Bruins at 6 minutes. So much like the first period, Boston's in control. And then it switches. It just flips. Couturier gets a goal from Farabee and Van Riemsdyk at 6:59. And this was taking advantage of a young goaltender, being overly aggressive on what Farabee might have been able to do, leaving himself out of position for when it's a pass instead of a shot. And Couturier had a yawning cage staring at him to get the 3-2 goal. So good play by the Flyers, and for Swayman, being overly aggressive cost him there. The Bruins would get a power play shortly after that. That was a no. Bruins would go back to get another power play after that. Again, it was a no. The Flyers then scored. It was challenged for goalie interference. And it was pretty obvious that it was goalie interference. So it's successful. It's still 3-2. Krejci then had a net drive with 3 minutes left. Sanheim defended that well. With 1 minute and 24 seconds left, The Bruins ice the puck. They're mostly flat late in this game. So again, they're getting chances but not getting enough shots. Not getting really good shots at Elliott. And icing the puck with 1:24 left, you're just making it so you can't get the goalie out, you can't get things set up. They would finally get Swayman pulled with 55 seconds left. They called a timeout with 9 seconds left. They were unable to get a shot after that 9-second timeout. And yeah, they lose this one 3-2. They drop to 21-11-6. The Flyers go to 19-15-6. Shots in this one did favor Boston overall. 11-7 in the first, 11-7 in the second, 10-9 in the third. Final shots 32-23 for Boston. Power plays, Boston 0 for 4. Philadelphia 1 for 2. The hits favored Philly 24-20. Makes sense since they were outshot. Block shots 17-14 for Boston. Swayman stops 20 out of 23. Elliott saves 30 out of 32. And again with Swayman, maybe something that teams might be getting a book on him with is he does overcommit and he is kind of a little bit over-aggressive, which is not that unusual for a young goaltender. But for Boston, they may be looking forward to getting Rask back sooner rather than later. But we'll see what happens. Next up, Dallas. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see this result coming at all. Not going to pretend I did. It's 1 minute in when Robertson, I should say, gets hot again from Hintz and Pavelski. Those three combined have been great. Best line that Dallas has had since, I'll say, 3 years ago would have been the peak for Ben, Radulov, and Sagan. I'll say, 3 years ago? So this line is giving that one a run for its money. And then Les Perance, he scores from Dowling at 149. Love the name. Every time he scores, I'm like, yeah, Les Perance. It's experience. Drive a Buick. And I don't know why it has to be a Buick, but it does. If a Les Perance is ever a car, it can't be a Trans Am. It can't be a Porsche. It has to be a Buick. It's just, those are the rules. That was 2 shots for Dallas as well. 2 shots, 2 goals. So looking pretty good early for Dallas. Stars not giving the Panthers any room in the first 5 minutes either. The Panthers were very frustrated during this game. The shots were 5-0 for the Stars at 7 minutes. They were shot blocking as well, doing a very good job. So if we come back over here, the shots were 4-0 Bruins at 3.5 minutes. At 5.5 minutes, the Flyers still didn't have a shot. Over here at 7 minutes, the Stars hadn't allowed a shot. So again, I'm watching this and I'm like, this is interesting games. Kind of fun. Power play for Dallas at 9 minutes. There were still no shots for the Panthers at that stage. And then Dallas scores on the power play. It's Ben from Pavelski and Hintz at 9:03. And it's been a pretty hot power play lately. I think with that one, they were 7 for 14 over their last, I want to say 4 or 5 games. But yeah, so Ben continues his hot streak too. And there's Pavelski and Hintz with the assists. Wenberg then had a break. Hudobin saved, which was key because Hudobin wasn't seeing a lot of shots. So it's easy for a goaltender to get cold and end up allowing a goal he shouldn't have. But there, he makes the big save. Things get scrummy with 8:13 left again. Florida was very frustrated. Remember, it's 3-0 Dallas at this point. And, they're probably thinking Carolina and Tampa play later. We want to win this one and put more pressure on them. The Stars had a 2-on-1 that was broken up. There was a late power play for the Panthers. Hudobin robbed Huberdeau in the final seconds. Very, very key, those last second goals. So he stops one from happening. We go to the second period with it 3-0 for Dallas. Stars had a 2-on-1. Robertson was jammed on that one. Stars then draw a power play. It doesn't end up getting a shot. So we go from a red-hot power play to, the other 2 happened. Puck behind Bobrovsky was cleared out. That was a dangerous opportunity. Bobrovsky then saved on a shot from Ben, which resulted from a turnover that was forced by Gurianov. Panthers get a power play. That was killed off as well. Pressed by the Stars with 9.5 minutes left. Cogliano with a near break on a stretch pass, but he couldn't quite get to it. Then we get a late power play for the Stars. Hintz had a breakaway on that. Bobrovsky made the save, and they killed it off. And then with 17.4 seconds left, the Panthers get a power play. And what happens? Barkov stays red hot. He scores from Hornquist at 19:58. Initially, it wasn't counted as a goal. They reviewed it. It counted as a goal. So, 3-1. And that felt really dangerous, especially when in the third period, Hudobin's tested immediately right out of the gate. So Florida, using their speed, using their transition game, which is lethal very often in these games, They get those opportunities in that first minute. But then it's Robertson scoring at 121. So Robertson with his second goal of the game makes it 4-1. And boy, was Florida frustrated then. But you know who was most frustrated? In fact, all the players together might not have been as frustrated as Mason Marchment. He missed an open net. Wide open yawning cage while Hudobin's on the other side, and he just flat out missed it. The Panthers were really trying to answer. Marchment missed a couple on that one. That one was bad, though. And then they showed him go over to the bench, and he just put his head on the boards, and he just looked absolutely distraught. How do I miss that? And I understand. I totally get why he would feel that way. And then the Panthers get a power play at the half. Huberdeau was mad during that power play. He felt he took a high stick. He was mad that that wasn't called. That would have given them a 5-on-3. You could hear him very loudly shouting at the referee there. Marchment then gets frustrated as well because he's getting hit. So not only is he missing shots, but he's getting drilled into the boards a couple of times there. He wasn't happy about that. So anybody wearing a green sweater, he wanted to take him out. Or jersey, whatever you wish to call it. So yeah, it got kind of rough. It was kind of fun. The Stars show once again. They can compete. They go to 15, 14, and 10. That 10's still ugly. The Florida Panthers dropped to 26, 12, and 4. And, of course, they'll be awaiting the results of Carolina and Tampa Bay's games later to see where they stand in the rest of the division. Dallas wins this one 4-1. Very important game for Dallas. They now play Nashville tomorrow. If Dallas is going to make a push out of this, they have to beat Nashville tomorrow. And they need Nashville to lose tonight as well. So, the shots in this one. Not a lot of shots. A lot of hits, not a lot of shots. 9-7 Dallas in the first. Both teams had 8 shots in the second. The shots were 6-3 in favor of Florida in the third. Final shots, 21-20 in favor of Florida. Florida goes 1 for 4 on the power play. Dallas goes 1 for 3. The hits, 34-26 for Dallas. It was a physical game. The block shots, 28-7 for Dallas. So a lot of shot blocking by Dallas. Bobrovsky saves 16 out of 20. Hudobin saves 20 out of 21. And again, for Dallas, they keep their faint hopes alive. They do still have those games in hand, and they do still have games against teams that they're competing with for that final playoff spot in the Central. So we'll see if they get there. All right, there you go, guys. You guys are caught up on the early games. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. For all your support, I will talk to you again soon.